if you wanted to find 30% of 200, what you do is you break it down to 10%, 10%, 10%. That's 30%. Now you know to find 10% of £200, you just do 200 divided by 10. 200 divided by 10, 20. 10% is also 20. 10% is 20. So altogether, that's £60. £60. Increase £200 by 30%. Increase means adding. So you've got to do 200, add the 60. 200 plus 60, 260 pounds. This time increase £200 by 35%. So we need to find 35% of £200. 35% is 10%, 10%, 10%, 5%. That makes 35%. So if you look at this, 10% is worth 20, but 5% is half of 10. So half of 20 is £10. So altogether now, 20 plus 20 plus 20 plus 10 makes £70. 35% of £200 is £70. Increase means adding, so we're going to do 200, add 70. Increase £200 by 36%. So we need to find 36% of £200. That's 10, 10, 10, 5. We need a 1. 1%. To find 1%, you can divide the 200 by 100. 200 divided by 100 is 2. So now altogether we have £72 here. So to increase £200 by 36%, 200, add 72, £272. Increase £200 by 136%. We've already got 36% displayed here. So I'm going to attach on 100%. Because then you've got 100% plus the 36% makes 136%. 100% of £200 is £200. 100% means everything. So 100% of £200 is £200. So what does that make now? That'll be £272. Increase £200 by 136%. You've got to do 200, add the 272. £472. Let's say you already know that 10% is worth 20. And you know to work at 5%, well, you know half of 10 is 5, so half of 20 is 10. Well, is there another way of getting 1% instead of dividing by 100? And I did mention that 1%, to find 1% you can divide by 100, it works. Is there another way? If you compare this with this, to get from 5% to 1%, you know 1% is 5 times smaller than 5%. So basically 5% divided by 5 gives you 1%. 5 divided by 5 gives you 1%. What have you done on this side? Do on the other side. 10 divided by 5 is 2. It's what we saw earlier on. When we found 1%, we divided by 100 to get to £2. Here we also got £2. 0.5% will be, you know, half of 1% is 0.5, so half of £2 is £1. So if the question was find 17.5%, then you can break that down to 10%, 5%, 1%, another 1%, that makes what's 15, 16, 17, 17.5%. So all those values you already know. 10% is worth 20, 5% you know is £10, 1%, 1% again, 0.5%. So you add these up to find 17.5% of £200. Finally, increase £200 by 17.5%. It's going to be 200 plus 35. That makes 35 here, £235.